Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Heat guard unable to turn season around and lost to Trailblazers. After coming off one of the best wins of the season that featured a new starting lineup Heat fans were begging to see, the Miami Heat were quickly sent back to reality. With Tyler Herro missing his first game due to a groin injury, Miami could not sustain their hot start and ultimately ended up losing in embarrassing fashion to the Portland Trail Blazers 116-107 Tuesday night at Kaseya Center. As we cross the half point of the season, it's fair to say that Terry Rozier has been a major disappointment. Rozier's inconsistencies have hurt the Heat's offense, and his defense is not strong enough to justify keeping him on the court when shots aren't falling. In this instance, I really wanted to see Rozier put together another strong performance and build off his performance on Sunday against the San Antonio Spurs, where he scored 20 points and shot 4 for 5 from three-point range. With Jimmy Butler not playing at his best due to being unhappy along with Herro being out, the stage was set perfectly for Rozier to have a green light and be aggressive. Unfortunately, Rozier could not buy a basket, resulting in an abysmal 9-point performance on 4 for 13 shooting with 1 three-pointer made on 6 attempts. And with the Heat falling down by more than 20 points, Erik Spoelstra decided to yank most of the starters from the game, including Rozier, who only logged 22 minutes. With first-round picks becoming super valuable when it comes to executing trades, it's a tough pill to swallow knowing that Miami gave up a first-round pick for Rozier knowing how the season has been going so far. But at the time, given how Rozier was playing with the Charlotte Hornets and the price to get key contributors with players such as Jay Crowder going for 5 second-round picks 2 seasons ago, it would have been reasonable during that moment to say Rozier would have costed at least 1 first-round pick. There is still plenty of basketball left, and Heat Nation wants to see Rozier turn back into the player that earned him the nickname Scary Terry. But at the same time, Rozier needs produce on the court to show he can still be an offensive threat, and performances like this make a lot of people lose faith in Rozier regaining form. Did Heat's Jimmy Butler drop trade destination hint with shoe choice versus Blazers? The noise surrounding Jimmy Butler and his potential departure following his trade demand towards the Miami Heat has never been louder. Butler's most prominent suitor, the Phoenix Suns, have already geared up for a bigger trade push for the Heat star, and it looks as though the 35-year-old wing is looking forward to a potential team-up with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker himself, if his choice of shoes during Miami's 116-107 loss to the Portland Trail Blazers is any indication. As pointed out by Bleacher Report on X, formerly known as Twitter, Butler was wearing the Suns' colorway of his signature Li Ning JB3 shoe, which is perhaps as strong of a hint as he's willing to give to the public that he's urging the Heat to trade him to his most preferred destination as soon as possible. Butler has a history of being either all in on his team or being all out. Back in 2018, when he had grown disgruntled with the Minnesota Timberwolves and demanded a trade, he also pulled stunts like these, most notably talking trash during scrimmages while leading bench players to wins over starting units, as well as conducting an interview with Rachel Nichols, who was with ESPN back then. With Butler having made his stance regarding a trade away from the Heat crystal clear, it was only a matter of time before his other actions reflected this desire of his to leave the team. Nothing is ever an accident when it comes to the 35-year-old star forward, so as much as he would play this decision of his to wear the Suns' colorway of his signature shoes off as a coincidence, all the signs are pointing towards an eventual move for him to the Valley. With the Suns being above the second tax apron, they are subject to a few trade restrictions. They cannot take on more salary than they give out, and they also cannot aggregate multiple pieces to bring in a single player to match salaries in any potential trade. A third or fourth team is necessary for Jimmy Butler to get his wish, especially when the Heat have reportedly shown no willingness whatsoever to take on Bradley Beal and his hefty contract that includes a no-trade clause. Insiders are suggesting that the Milwaukee Bucks could be the team that takes on Beal's contract, although the Bucks, like the Suns, are above the second tax apron, complicating matters even further. The Miami Heat won't have their best player for Tuesday's matchup with the Portland Trail Blazers. Guard Tyler Herro will miss his first game of the season due to groin soreness. Via Ira Winderman, Tyler Herro says he is out tonight. Herro is enjoying a breakout campaign for the Heat, who have been surrounded by drama due to the Jimmy Butler trade fiasco. The Kentucky product has completely taken advantage of his role though, averaging 24 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 5.0 assists while shooting 40% from three-point land. The 24-year-old enjoyed his birthday on Monday and has played in all 41 games so far for the Heat, who are 21-20 at the moment, which is good enough for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. Butler just returned to action, despite the organization still looking to trade him ahead of the February 6 deadline. Herro was seen having some fun with Jimmy before his first game back as their names were announced, but Butler wasn't exactly enjoying himself. With Herro out here, Kel'el Ware is getting his first NBA start. Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Butler will round out the first unit. Ware has been a solid piece off the bench in his rookie campaign, averaging 7.3 points and 4.0 rebounds per night. He's given the Heat some nice production in their second unit. The Heat have gone just 4-6 in their last 10 games, but did grab a big win over Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs on Sunday. After hosting Portland, Eric Spoelstra's squad hits the road for matchups with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. With Herro sidelined here, Butler will need to step up alongside Bam. The Heat need to stay focused and ignore the outside noise, but it does appear a Butler deal could be coming sooner rather than later. The Phoenix Suns acquired 3 first-round picks from the Utah Jazz, and that is reportedly an important step toward Jimmy getting traded. Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns make trade to boost Jimmy Butler chances. The Phoenix Suns are the only team to have been consistently linked with a move for Jimmy Butler since he made it clear that he was looking to leave the Miami Heat. On the other hand, it has also been reported that Butler is viewing a trade to the Suns as his priority. A lot of pieces need to fall into place for a trade of his magnitude to work out though, and it does feel like the Suns are now starting to lay the foundation for a move for Butler. According to Shams Charania on ESPN, the Suns are trading their 2031 first-rounder to the Utah Jazz for 3 first-round picks. Phoenix are acquiring the least favorable firsts in 2025 of Cleveland/Minnesota, 2027 of Cleveland, Minnesota, Utah, and 2029 of Cleveland, Minnesota, Utah. Most are viewing this as a move to eventually get Butler from the Heat. One user wrote on X, "They really want to get Jimmy Butler." Another added, "Obviously preparing to move Beal somewhere else and get Jimmy." With the Suns now having 3 first-round picks that they can offer, they have significantly boosted their chances of landing Butler in a trade with the Heat. Of course, one cannot overlook the fact that Bradley Beal has a no-trade clause, and he would most likely have to be involved if the Suns are to acquire Butler from the Heat. In the recent past, it has been suggested that the Heat are not keen to acquire Beal, who has struggled heavily since joining the Suns. It remains to be seen where they stand on that matter now. If the Suns are not able to get a trade done with the Heat involving Butler, the first-round picks still give them an opportunity to pull off a different move as they look to improve before the deadline. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.